everybody, I'm Amy Chase and I'm here with sculptor Will Harbottle, and we are in Sideshow's very own mold and cast room, giving you guys the very first look at our Cad Bane premium format figure. Now this is going to paint very soon, but we wanted to give you the first look at the raw output. This is the sculpt that you sculpted.
Yeah, straight off the printer, basically.
Now, when you begin a process of sculpting a piece like this, how do you start?
We get a design usually, and in this case we had a great design, so that's the starting point of everything. Then it's a rough draft of the figure with some clothing and some accessories and stuff like that, just to make sure that it's working in 3D, and that can take a little while. Then it's diving in.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a intricate process. There's so many details all around this thing, taking it from 2D to 3D. How much challenge is there in considering, elements that have to then emerge in a 360-degree format?
This one was really interesting and a super fun project. Let me just say, this is my first Star Wars piece ever. So I was really excited to work on this. It really combines my two loves growing up. Star Wars was #1 for me when I was a kid, but Westerns too. So
that's right.
This was a chance, especially the old spaghetti Westerns and stuff like that. And this character, Cad, has such a great reference to that stuff, the spaghetti Westerns. So when I saw this coming down the pipe, I was like, please, 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 please.
I was going to ask if it was an assignment or you called dibs on it.
I actually did. I did call dibs. I heard about it early enough, thankfully, it worked out that I could do it.
You've got to really kind of push the limits between the animation and the realism. What kind of references do you use for that?
Yeah, well, we went back to, for his portrait, we were inspired by the animated and we really want to stick true to that, of course, but also, like the cantina scene, there in the background, that his same species. We found the old pictures of the old models of that stuff, but then there was lots of textures and then, of course, the referencing of the Western stuff.
Yes.
So we really wanted to bring in a lot of those things too. We updated his boots a little bit. He's got those shapes of sort of the overlapping things from the animated, but we turned them into leather. So that was kind of what we did all over.
Let's talk about some of those textures, because I'm not just seeing, the actual fabric-like patterns. How was this process brought to life?
This was one of the funnest pieces I've ever worked on because it's the first time I ever worked with another person. Jorge Villar, a great sculptor who's done a bunch of stuff for us. He did all of the texturing and detailing stuff.
Wow.
So we worked together, like, when you see his duster, he's got this old school kind of, herringbone or whatever pattern on there. So we knew what we were shooting for, and then he applied all these textures and then that whole layer of distress on it, which was, it was so much fun because as he would send me the updates of what he was working on, I'd be working on the portrait or, the gun or something like that, and he'd come back with, here's, what I'm working on for the jacket. I'd be, holy smokes, that looks great. He is a genius at that. So what was fun for me is after all these years, I learned so much.
Now, I do want to draw some attention to our little Toto 360 friend over here. Speaking of the blend of realism and then the spaghetti Western, we've got this droid here with some amazingly detailed parts. What was that challenge like?
We knew for Toto, we wanted him to be straight out of the animated. Amazing reference from Lucasfilm of the actual animation models and stuff like that. So we had close-up turnarounds, and he is a spot-on, straight out of the animated show, just with some textures applied to make him fit into the same world. If you see, he's got scratches and scuffs and stuff like that. So we did that same sort of texturing to him to make him feel like he's in the real world.
Well, that's fantastic. I love how collaborative this piece is. I mean, again, and it's going to pass through so many other hands to get to the prototype process, and then even further when it gets to collectors. But you guys are seeing such an early look at this, and we are so excited to have that here. Is there anything else you want to add about your experience with Cad Bane here?
Well, I hope everybody loves it. It was one of the funnest things I've ever worked on.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is the earliest look that we can give you at the Cad Bane premium format figure. You can RSVP to be notified when this piece does launch for pre-order, and keep your eyes peeled for even more exciting updates. I've been Amy Chase. This is Will Harbottle. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks.
And we will take it back to Sideshow Con.